So this is a update on all the current components. I'm using my Glock 19 Gen 3 as kind of carry gun. It's kind of doing everything right now, which is great about the size of the 19. I mean, you hear that all the time, but it's definitely true. It's really nice size. So currently, KKM precision barrel, which I like. I was gonna do that anyway because I'm shooting reloads. And it's just a nice drop-in trigger. Although, drop-in barrel. Although I will say there is a fair amount of movement right there in the barrel. I guess you can determine how tight the lockup is based on how much movement there is. And, there really is kind of a lot here. There's actually more than on a factory Glock, I think. So I'm not sure what's up with that. The gun still shoots fine, but there is a lot of movement, I think, in that lockup right there. I'm happy to see it moving right there. Trijicon RMR. It's a 3.5 minute dot, which I really like. I don't think it's too small for shooting up close. I mean, that's all I really shoot is 25 and in. And it's great. I don't think a bigger dot is going to make shooting that distance any faster. When I'm trying to get the gun on target, or from a draw or transitioning, it's not the dot size of the dot that slows me down. It's potentially losing the dot in the window. I would highly recommend the 3.5 to anyone. It's a perfect size, I think. And it'll let you shoot out pretty far. I mean, if you decided you didn't like the 3.5 on a pistol, you could easily throw that in a mount and put it on a rifle, and you'd have a good sized dot for that. So just in terms of like the versatility, if you don't like it on your handgun, it's a great option. Now they do have a 1 MOA dot out now, which I would like to try just to see, but I don't know. Agency arms trigger, which I like a lot. I'm gonna be getting one for my other Glocks now, I think, because it's just awesome. It's really nice for a drop-in trigger and just works, which is great. I mean, I've done Apexes for some MMPs before, and I think they feel good and they're nice, but I've also screwed with one for like hours before, and probably was just me, but this is foolproof. I felt like putting it in. I went right in. This was originally a threaded barrel Glock. So it already came with the factory high steel sights on there. So I just left those, put a new barrel in. That way it fits, the Glock holster without having to have an extended barrel holster, which would be like a custom one. So the factory sights are fine. The front sight did loosen up a little bit. You probably can't tell, but it's not straight anymore, which is fine. I could loosen it up and tighten it back down again, but if I were you, I would probably take that off and Loctite it and put it back on, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. But it is canted. Just have skateboard tape on the grips for now. I'll send it off at some point, to have finger grooves taken off and some stippling done. But since I shoot this gun so much and carry this gun so much, I really just don't want to send it off for 2 weeks to have that work done. That's my main thing. It's just not having it. But probably get that done in the next month or so. Just go ahead and bite the bullet on it. Other than that, that's it. I mean, this gun, as it's shooting, has produced groups as good as maybe like 3 inches at 25, which I know isn't super tight. I mean, lots of guns will shoot tighter groups than that. But I mean, I'm pretty happy with that, considering you get shot so much and hardly clean. It's definitely not like a precision setup, but I'm happy with the group sizes. I think that the group sizes it shoots are typically within the air of where the dot's moving. So if I'm holding it on at 25 and I've got a couple inches of drift with the dot at 25, that typically ends up being about what the group size is. So it's pretty predictable and consistent in that way. And I do love having the dot. I think I've timed myself shooting some up close with just irons on a different Glock 19 with a fiber optic front and blacked out rears, and shooting this gun, and the irons are faster, for sure, almost 20% faster than the dot up, you know, from like 12 to 15, anywhere within that, the irons are faster. But I do think that the dot makes up the difference past that distance, and also I think I get more precision out of the dot. I know where the shots are going to land. I know the zone they're going to land in. I'm able to really concentrate, and I feel like I shoot a tighter group with the dot. I haven't shot groups back to back with irons versus the dot, but I feel like my dot groups are better, especially at 25. I mean, it's totally realistic at 25 to have this gun shoot all headshots on like an IDPA USBSA target. To get them all in the head at 25 is definitely within the gun and the dot's you know, ability, and I guess the shooter as well. So I like that you can pick it up, and you don't have to know if it's a 12 o'clock hold or a 6 o'clock hold, or, you know, you just pick up the gun, the dot's where it is. Your height over bore is very, very small, so even if you shoot it, the gun's 0 to 25, but if you shoot it at even 3 or 5 yards, the rounds might land, what, maybe an inch low max, so that's almost nothing, I consider. And then I'm carrying it either in the Vanguard 2 from Raven. I like this a lot for inside the waistband. If I don't need a light that day, I'll definitely do this, or if I just don't want to have the huge holster that this is, you know, going on and you know, wherever. So this is great. I really like this. It's the most comfortable inside the waistband carry method I've found, just because it's so low profile, as opposed to having, you know, all this blocky holster that would be, you know, in here. So I love this thing. This is great. And then other times I'll carry it with Surefire light, and then in the holster like that, obviously outside the waistband. And this is how I'll shoot at the range too. It's you know, real difficult to shoot at the range with this, because every time you unholster it, you have to pull this. So sorry about that. This is not that great for the range, but great for just throwing it on real quick. I carry like this outside the waistband a lot, much more than I actually carry inside the waistband. So probably 80% of the time is just like this, and I think it's super comfortable. You know, I don't just throw a shirt on, no big deal, and I'll carry it in an extra Raven Concealment, you know, magazine like this. And I just ordered, I haven't received it yet, one with the slant cut in the front, which I think will be good. I'll probably run this one further back and then do the slant cut right at my like 9 o'clock position. So yeah, that's kind of the EDC gun setup, and yeah.